Hi there. So we have now went through the configuring the MIDI, configuring the audio, using the library, storing the track presets in Pro Tools. Now we will take things further with Pro Tools and see how to store configuration for external synthesizers and how to use outboard gear, like in my case, the Lexicon reverb plate in your project and in your configuration. So let's get going with Pro Tools and see how it is configured for that. How to use external synthesizers and outboard gear with Pro Tools. Similar things happen as in Ableton Live, but they are done a bit differently. Anyway, you get the things done, and it's quite straightforward in Pro Tools as well. So let's first create an instrument track, and we start with the external instrument. In this case, with the synthesizer, let's use the same OBX8. So you create an instrument track, and once you have the instrument track created, basically you then can go and select the interface from where the audio is coming in. So in this case, it would be OBX8. And again, if you have a seed sheet and you have documented your stuff there, then it's easy to recall that, what is the MIDI board, what is the audio, and so on and so forth that you need to route into. And in this case, basically then now, let's put this into the mix bus. So I selected from here that, the audio is coming from the OBX8. Then in order for me to configure the instrument, I actually need to go over here and right click to get the instrument visible. And now when I have it visible in instrument track, I can go over here and then select the OBX8 and then a channel 10 to route the MIDI into OBX8 channel 10. And this basically does the trick for me while working with the external synthesizer. So if I now arm the track and press, then I hear my external synthesizer playing nicely. Then of course you could go and then give a name for the track. OBX8, for example, and then say OK. And now when you have named the track and so on and so forth, you can basically then go and store this preset as a track preset. You need to go over here, and then basically you right click on it, on a track, and then from here you can say that save track preset. And when saving, you can basically then also define into which category you will place them. And you could add a category here. You can manage these categories later on, but you can add a category here and you can create it into your own folder, like for example over there, and then you could say that these are my synthesizers. So my synths, and the name of the track preset is OBX8, and I'm happy with all these things, tagging and so on and so forth. So then I just say OK, and now I have my track preset saved. So if I go and delete this track, and so I delete the track, and then I create an. Now I have actually an option to create a track directly from the preset. So I would go from here, new track, and then instead of audio track, I go to the track presets, LFMPR, my synths, and then now I only have the OBX8 there, so I can basically then recall it and say that, okay, let's create the track with the track presets, my synths OBX8, and I have it now here, and then when I arm it and play, I hear the sound. So this is the simple, straightforward way of recalling your external synthesizers so that you don't need to reconfigure them all every time again, and then use them in your project. Next, we will look into how to actually use external outboard gear. And I have that lexicon reverb that I've been using also in the previous sample with Ableton Live. So I'll do the same over here. Here you don't have a specific device, as in Ableton you had like an external audio effect device, but you have here a setup and you need to go into an I/O section. And in I/O section you have a thing called insert. And here you can actually configure now a insert that reflects the outboard gear. In case of Pro Tools, the one thing that you need to understand with the inserts is that it needs to go out in the same ports that it comes in. So you can't say that, okay, it goes out into ports 27, 28, and it comes back on 29 and 30. So that's why I actually needed to fiddle my configuration a bit and move my cork to basically be placed in 29 and 30. And now I have the channel for lexicon I have in 27, 28 when it is basically input. And then when I go to an output, I have the same channels over there. So this is kind of precondition to use inserts in Pro Tools, is that the incoming and outgoing ports need to be same. But then once you know that, then you can go and create a new path. And this is a stereo one, and then you give a name for it. So in this case, it's the lexicon. And MPX and 100. So lexicon MPX 100, and then you say create. And then now you go and map it into the ports of 27 and 28. And you are pretty much done. So this is how you can then configure all your external outboard gear. The only condition was that it needs to go out in the same ports that is coming in, and then it works fine. And that's more about hardware configuration and routing of your audio in your hardware part than in Pro Tools. But that's the work that you need to do in order to utilize outboard effects. So, but when you are done, we have it here, and then we say OK. Now when you go into inserts, you can find it from there. So if we now play it plainly, and then we go into inserts, and now we have this I/O section over here. So from there I can now pick up a lexicon MPX 100, and then when I play, now I hear it basically. And then if I disable it, it doesn't use the effect. So this is pretty much how you work with external outboard gear in Pro Tools. So you can basically go and into setup, I/O, and then define them as inserts. Okay, that was Pro Tools. Next we will hop into Logic Pro X and see how Logic Pro X is configured for external synthesizers and storing presets for it and outboard gear. So remember to subscribe for the channel for more content. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Bye now.